Good morning, and welcome to Sunday morning spiritual celebration, or rather Sunday spiritual celebration. It's part of the Team Conscious Creators, one of our broadcasts that we try to broadcast. Yeah, we try to broadcast weekly, but we have been taking a little time off. We found ourselves kind of disconnected and kind of scattered. So we wanted to kind of hone ourselves back in, bring ourselves back in, align and ground ourselves. So we took a few weeks off, but we're back. We're back. And hopefully we're going to be moving forward. Today's Sunday, October the 6th, and it's the first Sunday of October. And as you know, as you realize that we've already moved into the fall season. And one of the things that I've been mindful of over the past, during that time, during my absence anyway, is to not focus so much on time, because we're bound, we're human beings, and we're bound to that clock. We're bound to that time, and even bound to seasons, and that's okay. Seasons is an event. Seasons are events, so we can do that. But I was encouraging myself and my clients and people that I came in contact with over the past week or so to consider consider or think in time, think in terms of events rather than time so much. And you'll find yourselves a lot more liberated and free, a lot more free when you do that. So I've been kind of concentrating on events rather than watching my clock so much. But we're here every Sunday at 11 o'clock for this event, and it's a weekly event. And like I said, we've been gone for a while, and I hope you missed us enough to to try to find us again and to rejoin us and to be with us every Sunday for the event, for the spiritual celebration, the Sunday spiritual celebration. Each Sunday, 7 days, we have 7 days in a calendar week. So we hope that you put us on your radar, if you would, so that when Sunday rolls around, that you'll look for us. And again, if you can't find us, we can't find us on Sunday at 11 o'clock. If you're looking at your time and you're watching the clocks, look for us on our YouTube channel, because we record each one of our events. Each one of our events are recorded, and we upload it, download it, put it on our YouTube channel, so that you can enjoy it or refer back to it or reference it or review it, anytime you want to. So we like to maintain and share that event with us. So today's going to be a little bit different. It's just going to be real short. I'm not going to be long-winded today. I am going to share just a brief time of meditation. And I've got a couple of things that I wanted to share in regards to that. But before I go on, I wanted to just give you an idea of what we're going to be focusing on and talking about today, and that is relationships. We're going to be talking about and celebrating relationships, and we're going to be honed in on or focused in on that one unique and that most important that we consider as conscious creators, as ourselves children of the Most High, as honoring our creator and our source. We're going to be looking at that particular connection and that particular relationship, and that is our relationship with God, which is also very awesome and unique. It's because it brings that connection, brings us into oneness with God, oneness with God. Like I said, we've been scattered about, and we've taken our time to position ourselves and reconnect ourselves and align ourselves, ground ourselves in that connection, in our relationship with God. And we feel better. We feel better. We feel more powerful. We feel more empowered. We feel complete. I feel more complete. I don't feel alone. I don't feel like it's so scattered about. I feel I feel the oneness, and not only with God, but because I understand who, what, and whose God is, that I understand that my connection with each and every one of you, and each and every living thing and being and thing in God's creation. I find myself realizing that oneness with all things, because just as time is an illusion, space is an illusion as well. We're not ever far away from one another. We're never, ever, ever far away from God. And it's just, it is our decision, it's our attitude, it's our way of thinking, and it's our sensitivities and our intuitions that we need to, or should, ought to manage to focus and to be one with our creator, one with our maker, one with God. All right, so that's our focus today. But without further ado, I'm going to go back. I'm gonna like I said, I'm going to be recording off and on today. So I'm going to stop the recording here, and I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to pause it. Thank you for joining us again this morning for our spiritual celebration, Sunday spiritual celebration. And I hope that meditation was energizing for you as well as comforting to you and for you. If that's something that you have not put on your agenda as a daily to do or a daily must do, really, I'm going to encourage each one of you to find a meditation that you can listen to and that you can share with. Or if you are imaginative and you can do this on your own, just sit and have some quiet time of meditation with your creator, with God, with source, with your most high, with that deep inner higher most high part of yourself. Because it's something that you will find, I promise you, you will not regret it. You will not feel like you've lost some time. In fact, you'll feel like you've found a source that you were surprised that it could fulfill you and could give you what the clock and the time and and the stuff outside of yourself can give you. So I'm going to encourage you to meditate. If you would like this particular meditation, we'll include it in our remarks when we upload our broadcast today. We'll put it on our YouTube channel and upload it as well, so that you can enjoy it. It's beautiful. I love it because I love the ocean and I love the water, and I use my imagination always to picture myself or imagine myself in that sea, in that body of water, surrounded, engulfed, and just taken over, consumed by that water. And it's very comforting. And it's almost, it's like I said about space, we consider ourselves floating out here in this, I'll call it the blue ball, Earth, floating into outer space, into nothingness. But that nothingness is not nothing. That nothingness is God. Everything, absolutely everything we can imagine, everything we can touch and see and feel and smell and taste and hear, those are creations of God, and they're part of God's essence, part of God's self. And I'm talking to just a variety of folk with all types of different perspectives and different understandings and different points of views about who God is and what God's name is. I call God God. If I was in another country or speaking another language, I might say Dios, God Dios, because God Dios is God for the Latinos and the Spanish speakers. And God has many names. God has many names, and you can give God a name if you want to give God a name. I find myself speaking of the Most High, of God the Most High, of God the Father, God Creator, God Divine, God Universe. We can call God by many names, any name whatsoever. Whatever you designate as your source, the source of who and what you are, your Creator, in whom image you are made, whatever it is that you want to call God, I respect that. I honor that along with you. I may not know how to pronounce it sometimes, and it might not fall from my lips or from my mind as easily as the words the designations that I use for God. But space, our imagination, those things that we can't touch and feel, but that are real to us. We know that our thoughts are real to us. We know that our imagination, when we dream, those are real to us. All of that, all of that is God's creation. God's created all of that. And it's one thing that I pointed out earlier in my meditation was that in my meditations, I poured out, or I came to the understanding that God created absolutely everything, nothing, not one thing that I experienced or that I know or I hear or touch, I feel that God didn't create, didn't bring into existence, into my being, into my understanding, into my life, into my journey, into my just it's brought to me, brought to each of us. Even the bad things, even those things that we deem worse things, the best things and the worst things, God created them. The light and the darkness, God created. And before the light, God was, and all was dark. It was blackness, it was darkness. That was God. So nothing is exempt from God, nothing. So when we think of God, or we think of Most High, or we think of how you think of God, or how that person think of God, or that nationality, or that ethnic group, or that those folk, the other folk, what do they think? Who are we? Who am I to say that that's not God when everything, absolutely everything is God? So I'm learning that, and especially today with today's message, being connected, being one with God, that relationship with God is so important. It's important for us as an individual, for our own self, to understand that oneness, that connection of who God is, what God is. And knowing that, once we know that all things are God, and God created, God made all those things, then that ought to help us understand how well connected and how grounded and firmly, solidly connected we are to God. And it's our own individual, personal, unique thoughts and imaginations and words and perceptions and feelings that we have to manage, that we must manage in order to remain connected, not only with the presence, but the understanding as well. Understanding as well. Because understanding, once we understand a thing and we grasp it and understand it and better yet, have that experience of it, have that experience. I remember when I was a very young just a little girl. I was a little girl, just a dreamer. I call myself a little dreamer. My grandma and my family used to call us children our little godlings. But when I was just that new little godling that came into this world, I remember just laying out sometimes, just being out playing in the yard, and especially after a nice the lawn had been manicured and cut, and the grass had been cut and everything, and you could smell the smells, and you could feel the crispness in the air, and then I would lay there on my back in the grass, just feeling it, just feeling it all over my skin and my legs and, my face. And I would just be so just in it that I would imagine myself walking along the blade of grass with one of the insects that I would see every now and again. And I could just see myself from that perspective, looking out and through the jungle of the blades of grass, like I was a little bug or an ant. And sometimes I'll dream those dreams again as an adult, as an older godling, if you would. But it's remarkable. It's to experience that and to recall that experience, it's something that you just don't want to give up. I don't want to give that up because I find so much truth and so much peace and really so much knowing, so much wisdom in that connection, in that being a part of all things, being a part of it all. Seeing it, like I said, seeing it from an insect's perspective, through the blades of grass. And then as I'm older now, and I'm in this world with such a diverse community of human beings, of physical human beings. I mean, there's hundreds, thousands of us, probably millions of us, probably that have, well, of course, billions of us that have our own unique perspective of our relationship and our connections with the Most High. That it marvels me. It marvels me to know that the same God, that same oneness is all of ours as an individual and as all of ours as collective, as total everything and everybody, because we're all the created of God. We're a little unique, the human are, because we're made just a little bit lower according to the word of God, of those scriptures. It tells us that we as human beings were made just a little bit lower than the angels, than the spiritual beings. Now we have spirits as well. We have spirits as well. And I would imagine sometimes that, we probably marvel and envy the angels at times, but I would imagine that the angels envy us too, because we were given dominion over all of this beautiful creation called all of creation, basically. Over creation. We were given dominion over it, and having that dominion gives us awesome, awesome power, awesome power. And understanding that awesome power and understanding that authority that we're given, it ought make us humble too, in a way, and almost like fearful in a way, like, oh my gosh, my God, God entrusted me to all of this. And then I look at the way I live my life, or look at the way our lives are lived collectively. I tend to, want to kind of drop my head in shame sometimes, because I know that we make a lot of mistakes. But the thing too that's even more awesome is when I understand that connection with that oneness of who I am and whose I am. It humbles me, and it makes me, oh my goodness, it makes me overwhelmed with love, not only pouring out of me, but engulfing and overtaking me, because God, in God's wisdom, in God's wisdom, in that total, that oneness of who God is, had I don't know, the nerve. I don't think God has to worry about nerves so much, but had oh my goodness, the wisdom, had to know it all, had to know it all, the wisdom to entrust us with a free will to do what we choose to do, whether it be something that's profitable to us, or a few mistakes or sins, or I don't know, break some laws, if you would. When we have we, we can do those things. We were given the free will to choose to do this or that or that or that. A ton of things we're given choices to. We're given dominion over. We're given dominion over everything, over all things. The fact that we are connected with God. And I sometimes when I think about that and I start, trying to be logical about it with my mind, which is not always a mental thing to comprehend totally. But when I start thinking about it with my mind, I think, wow, God must really love us and trust us to basically allow us to make a mess of things, make a mess of things by some of the choices that we make. And it's okay. It's okay. And he still loves us. And we're still connected. We're still part of who he is. And he don't cast us aside because we broke a law, you know? He don't cast us in a jail cell because we've gone off and robbed a bank or done something terrible according to man's law. We're still connected. While we sit in the jail cells, while we sit in the jail cells, we're connected. While some of us are connected to wires, electricity to be terminated, we're still connected to God. While we're in the midst of doing those dirty deeds, if you would, breaking those laws, those sins, making those crazy mistakes, we're still connected to God. Still connected to God. I want you to really come to appreciate the fact that you're connected. I want you to embrace the fact that you're connected. I want you to explore your connection. Get to know some intricate details about that connection. And I want you to study it for the logic part of you, for the mind part of you, that man part of us, that physical part of us. But I also want you to sense it. I want you to sense it in your heart and in your intuition. I want you to know that that no matter what comes or what goes, no matter what I say or what I don't say, no matter what I do or what I don't do, be it good deeds or not so good deeds, be it sins, be it breaking the law, be it upholding and being an upright, righteous, whatever, I'm still connected with God. I'm still one with God. You know, Jesus said that Father and I are one. Father and I are one, but Father is greater. You know, there's a lot of things. There's a lot of hard sayings hard sayings in the Bible that, I scratch my head or I go back and I try to look at it and turn around and look at it different ways in my mind. But I've come to realize that there are some hard things in the Bible, in the scriptures. And I don't just mean the Holy Scripture, the Bible. I mean, there's holy interpretations of God's words or understandings of God's words in various forms and various languages and in all parts of the world. And in those writings, there's always gonna be some hard sayings in there that we just won't understand. That it's gonna just take the fact that we accept the fact that I'm connected. I accept the fact that this is what it says. I don't understand it. I haven't had a true experience of it yet. Or I'm waiting to have it, or I'm waiting for God to reveal or unfold that understanding to me in some way or another. I've listened to different people explain it, and I know people that understand it, who grasp it, but I just don't get it yet. But I'm still connected to God. I'm still one with my Father. I'm still one with the Creator. There is a higher part of me, and I'm always connected to that higher part, that higher being, that higher spirit. And it says, I think that our meditation, that meditation guide, she pointed out that some scriptures where Jesus said that, God in me, I'm in God, but God is in me. So we're one. It's like the water. When you're in water and you're in a body of water, you're immersed underwater in a sea, on the sea, or in the ocean, or a lake, or pool, wherever. When you're in that body and you're covered over with that body, and as long as you're in that body of water, you're engulfed in it, you're sunken in it, you're in it. You're one with it. You are one with it. You're there, you're one with it. And the only way, and it's only by your choice that you can, come out from under that, emerge yourself, just come out from under that water and separate yourself. You decide to separate yourself. You make the decision. Your mind tells you, and you will agree with your mind that, I'm separated from God. Or you'll have your intuition radar out there, and you're all of a sudden you can't sense it. You can't sense that closeness, that presence, that oneness. And again, like I said before, when you get there, when you are in that place where you can't sense it, when your heart feels a distance from that oneness that you know that you are, or your mind is telling you one thing, or you can't even imagine or envision it, that's when you go back. You take that step back and you start going inward into yourself, and you go back and find it. Don't stop. Do not stop. Don't continue in going until you know that you know that you know that you're one with God, that you're one. You're one once again. You're connected. You have that unshakable, unremovable, you can't disconnect it. You can't disconnect it. You can't detach yourself from it. I tell myself a lot of times, or I hear myself a lot of times say, well, you just, you need to detach. Well, yeah, your mind can tell you that I am detached from this person or that person hurt me, so I'm not attached. But you know what? You are still attached. You're attached. You may not be sending energy and receiving energy from that person back and forth. But you can sense yourself, not attending to that connection, associating yourself with that connection, but you're there. You're still connected, because as long as we have life and breath and we're breathing, and we have a spirit man that's moving in and about us, and maintaining and giving us our mobility in our life, we're all connected. Space and time are God's, and God's alone. God's alone. We imagine it as something separate from us. God created it, and it's all part of us. It's all part of God. So that ball that we're floating around in, again, is God. The life that's in us, that's giving us that mobility, is God. And as long as we, in our physical bodies and in our minds, understand and accept that, we're good to go. We're good to go. Because that way we can step into the authority that we're given, and we can act on that authority that we're given, and we can be okay with the choices that we make. We can live with the consequences of those choices. And if they turn out to be a choice that I made and right and good and my best intention, and if it doesn't turn out exactly like, I'm okay. And even if it's something that I do out of anger or whatever, I know that was not a choice that I would make again. Hopefully, I'm going to learn and understand from that choice, because it didn't benefit anything ultimately. So I'm going to move away from that choice. But I'm not ever going to disconnect myself from who, what, and whose I am. And that is God. And rightfully, right thinking, it's all of us. I'm one with God. I'm one with you. But God is the greater of us all. God is the greatest of all. He is the glue. He is the creator. He is you. He's me. He's the spirit, one spirit. And my spirit connected to God's spirit. Your spirit connected to God's spirit. My spirit connected to your spirit, y'all's spirit. Our spirit connected to one another, connected to God. Makes us one spirit, one spirit. That's all I have for today. I'm going to end it at that. And I'm going to remind you that your relationships again, are some of the most important connections and bonds that we'll ever have. But the most important connection that you have is that connection with God, your higher self. Because from that connection, you'll get an understanding of the experiences that we have with all the other connections in our lives. And we'll gain the benefit, and we'll share in the glory of the connection as well. Never, ever, ever, no matter what you call God, or what you hear other people call God, never, ever think nor feel yourself separate, disconnected from God. Because God is you and you are God. One spirit connected to God's spirit is one spirit. One spirit. So I'm going to say again, appreciate your relationship, your connection, your oneness with God. Appreciate it. Apply it in your daily life, in your daily existence, your daily experiences, and enjoy it. Love one another because you're love, and love is part of that connection as well. God bless, and until next Sunday, I'm going to play just a little bit of music going out. And I hope you join me next Sunday. I will be uploading this message to our YouTube channel and invite you to visit our channel. It's Team Conscious Creators. And make sure that when you join, when you visit us, you leave a comment, a remark, so that we'll know that you're there. And if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please subscribe. And if you're so inclined or if you're so moved to do so, share content, share messages, share broadcasts with your network and your friends and your family. Until next Sunday, God bless you. God loves you. You are the beloved of God. You are one with God. You're one with me. We are one with God. So manifest best. And remember, God loves you and I love you as well. Take care.